Well, we got off to a fast start, partially because there's some turnovers and, kind of capitalized on the turnovers. After that, we struggled on both sides of the ball. We obviously struggled with a lot of inside, not so much perimeter runs. We're just very soft up in front, and didn't stop the run, didn't stop the inside run at all. So, that's starts with me, and we didn't stop the run and give our enough possessions to our offense. And so offensively, I thought we came out, did a good job early, and then we just got a little stagnant. I think that it was difficult for it got difficult when we got the lead. They could kind of pin their ears back a little bit and throw a lot of different coverages as Isiah. And then, it's also difficult when they're rushing 3 guys and dropping into 8 coverage and get a little pressure on the quarterback. That makes things difficult too. So, it's a team loss. There was special teams errors. There was errors defensively. Couldn't stop the run, and offensively we're converting. Didn't score any points in the second half. We had some opportunities. So, we got to get back to work. We got to get back to work and figure out what we need to do, especially on the defensive side of the ball, to get better.
This is obviously the first time in 11 years you guys have dropped this. What do you say in the lack of seniors and those guys who have seen some
I didn't really talk much about Ferris. What I talked about was what's our approach going to be after this loss, and I also mentioned that there's a lot of football left to be played in the GLIAC. That everyone in the North Division now has 1 loss, and so it's we got to get back to work and get ready for Northern Michigan, and that if this loss is going to define our season, that's fairly pathetic. As a group, we got to get back to work and figure out what we have to do to get better and ultimately beat Northern. So that's we're going to start with that. That process is going to start tomorrow.
Isiah, there was times in the second half, in the third quarter, where you had to call the 2 timeouts and 3 plays. It seemed like you were a little bit confused there for probably one of the first 10 minutes you went out there. What was Ferris doing that kind of had you, out of sorts a little bit?
It was just mainly some of the plays we got in kind of late, so I had to try to see what their defense was doing, and we couldn't have ran the plays, and I didn't have time to check out of the play. So the best thing to do was just call a timeout.
Do you think that, as the game went on, they kind of, he said, was pinned their ears back and kind of came at you? Was that something that, kind of threw you off? Because obviously you and Charles didn't have the connection today. You and Brandan did, but was there, any sort of, good you can bring out of this performance?
Just keep our heads up. We don't really want to ever say, what good or bad we can take out of something. We just got to keep getting better week by week.
Matt, what was that play that, when Vanderland, the quarterback, going through the middle?
It was running like a quarterback counter and a quarterback power, and he had some guys jumping out of their gaps and misfitting it, and we made some adjustments on that play at the halftime. They came out in the second half and were running a different play. They were running a dive scheme with a fold. So the yards that we were getting in the second half was on a different scheme than what we were giving up in the second quarter. So we made an adjustment to the one play that was hurting us a little bit, but there's still times though that we got some guys there and stuff, and he's big and physical. I give Ferris State credit. He was falling forward and getting some yardage. So some of the big plays that were occurring in the second quarter were a different scheme than the big plays that were occurring in the third quarter.
That was something that you were talking about on Monday. Is it was the kind of team that you pick your poison, because they run such a different kind of offense, that it's tough to prepare for. Is that like your worst fear happening then?
Yeah. I think that there were some things that were happening to our kids out there that we did, had not really repped up or practiced necessarily because there were new schemes that we were seeing, and we did, it was a combination of a couple times we weren't in the right spots with some of our linebackers or defensive linemen. Then there's other times where, credit to Ferris State, they were just, they were getting a good push and winning at the line of scrimmage and pushing us back, so they were getting some yardage with him. So, it was very disappointing, our defensive performance. Very disappointing, our defensive performance, giving up that many rush yards.
Coach, obviously rushing defense outside of last week has been a problem. Is it kind of something where it finally caught up to you guys, where the offense stagnated and the defense kind of...
Yeah, no, you're right. We've been living a little bit with our offense and our special teams and our defense, you know, we played better at Michigan Tech, but our defense has not been very stellar, and our defense obviously let us down tonight. So, yeah, I mean, it did kind of catch up to us. Our poor defensive performance did catch up to us tonight.
And then Brandan's in here. Talk about how he's been more and more part of the offense as these last couple weeks have gone on.
Yeah, well, I think we've had to get him a little bit more involved because of some things that people are trying to do to Charles, and also Isiah's confidence in being able to throw the ball over the middle. So I think both of those factors have led to BG having a few more catches and obviously being involved more than he has.
You know, Brandan, talk about you've obviously had some injuries in the last couple of years, and so you haven't been on the field consistently. But the last 2-3 weeks, you've gotten a chance to really get out there and find some chemistry with Isiah. Talk about being able to be kind of a safety valve for him when Charles isn't able to get open.
I mean, like Coach said, I'm just the guy that they put in there in certain situations. When CJ's getting double covered, triple covered, and I'm just running the game, playing what coaches tell me what to do. And Isiah, obviously, we practice it every day, day in, day out. And we just go out there and connect, just like we do in practice. So it's kind of just routine.
And last thing, Coach, obviously you talked about focuses now on Northern Michigan. Is there anything you take out of this performance today, or is it kind of just one of the ones you erase from your memory and keep going?
Well, I mean, we're going to go look at the tape and look at the things that we didn't do right, and we've got to get those things scored up. I mean, we got to get more solid in the middle of our defense. There's no doubt about that. And I don't know if there's any quick answers to that, but we got to go and take a look at the interior of our defense, and we got to get a little more solid inside. So, we'll take a look at everything that happened in the game and make some, evaluations and move forward. But the comments I made earlier is that we gotta go back to work. We've got to get this thing done, because one loss can't start carrying over, and get 2 losses, 3 losses because of not getting things obviously corrected. So we got some work to do. So like I told the guys, like, we can pout and we can moan and we can whatever, but hats off to Ferris, did a good job there. He came in here and beat us, and we obviously got to get back to work and get better.
All right, thanks.
All right. Yep.